What's up, everyone? I'm here. We got a very big guest today. We got one of the best wrestlers in the country, no doubt about that, Mr. William Henckel. Will, how we doing, man?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
Yeah, guys, Will comes from Connecticut, but, goes to prestigious Blair Academy in New Jersey. Has been tearing it up ever since.
Yeah.
But, before all that, before you even stepped on a mat, or why did you step on a mat for the first time when you were just, little guy?
So, my dad got me into it, honestly. He wrestled at Newtown High School for a little bit. I think he was a state champ. He was a one-time state champ. I wrestled for 2 years, and then I kind of just got, thrown into the program. So.
And was that like Newtown Youth at first?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it was Newtown Youth at first.
And I know, you've been trained with Tugman a lot. So when did you, find Tugman and all that?
Yeah, so probably like third grade, I started to, start going to Coach Tugman, and, I kind of been going to him ever since. Yeah, that's so like third grade, and then probably around like sixth grade, I was still training with Tugman, and then I was, driving down the Jersey, or my dad and I were driving down the Jersey probably like, 2-3 times a week, training with Buxton and Coach Kuberman, so, yeah.
And how important do you think that those out of region practices were, driving down to Jersey, getting that, exposure to other types of competition?
I think it was important. I mean, I think really Tugman helped develop me a lot, just that was kind of like a big jump in my wrestling. And then another big jump was kind of just getting the exposure to those Jersey wrestlers, especially, since a lot of the Jersey kids that I would wrestle are high schoolers, like eighth grade mostly. It would be like Andy Trzynski and Nico Nardone, and like a lot of Del Barton kids, and a lot of kids that were kind of in that circuit. So, that was like another big jump, and it was just, it was nice to get around other kids and just have different, feels. So it was important.
And dude, I just remember, a long time ago, now when you were young, and there would be the CT wrestling articles like Henckel places, something out whatever in like the 10U division. So what was like kind of your first like big national tournament you won or, placed in, and you kind of felt okay, like, yeah, I'm good, I could compete with anyone?
Yeah, I think Tulsa, like the Tulsa circuit was kind of just like the first like big circuit I was on. Obviously, like the Wildwood duels and like Virginia Beach and like those duels, like obviously like those, like if you have a winning record, like you're pretty good, and like those were kind of the bigger competitions back then. But I think like winning Tulsa was probably like my first big one where it was like, this is kind of what I want to do. It was definitely it's just like feels good.
And would you say Tulsa is like what put you on schools like Blair's radar and stuff like that?
I would like to think so, but like not really. I think kind of just like putting myself, like I've always wanted to go to Blair, like that's kind of what I wanted to do. So it was like just kind of putting myself in front of the coaches. Like Antonelli was the coach at the time, and then as I was getting recruited later in or not recruited, but as I wanted to go there later in the process, it was like Jitomer was, kind of switching in. Like I had a conversation with Jitomer, and that's where I've always wanted to go. So I was pretty dead set on it.
Yeah. So what you were dead set on Blair from the jump? It's not like were you looking at like SEM or anywhere else, like GFA maybe?
Yeah, no. So I was looking at St. Joe's Montvale. I was looking at Wyoming Seminary. I was looking at GFA, Blair, and Del Barton like a little bit. So,
and I gotta ask, I'm curious too. If you have decided to stay, public school in Connecticut, would you have gone Newtown or?
No, I would have went to Pomprog.
Pomprog, wow, would have been.
Yeah.
It would have been quite the force for Pomprog.
Yeah, it would have been interesting. I think about that sometimes, but
yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
How has your experience at Blair been, or I guess when you first got there? What you mentioned it was you were dead set on it. So did it feel like a dream come true finally, walking into the room as an athlete?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was an adjustment. I mean, it was like a goal of mine. So like it was like, it was obviously nice to be there, but like the goal was just the goal to get there was really just for me to excel at wrestling. So it's like I'm there now. I actually have to make it happen. You know what I mean? Like I actually have to work. You know, because then obviously there's always the next goal after. So it's like I have to follow that plan a little bit. You know, it's just the steps.
Mm-hmm.
So it was definitely nice. It was an adjustment at first. Obviously, like you're living away from home, so it's a little different. You're on your own time schedule. You have to, you know, do work without, you know, your parents telling you to do it, like stuff like that. So you know, yeah, no, it does. It definitely prepares me. So, or it prepares you. So, like, you know, it was good. At the end of the day, it was good. You know, you get the hang of it pretty quickly. We have some freshman kids. Like I'm a prefect in a dorm, like an RA. So like I see the freshman wrestlers, you know, kind of go at their day-to-day lives, and like they kind of remind me of myself, like just kind of like getting adjusted and they're figuring it out. So it's cool to say.
That's cool. And you know, I gotta ask, like, is it hard to balance the academics? Like you said, you gotta, you know, worry about it yourself. You know, this academics at this school, while you know this quality wrestling team you're a part of.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. Because the academics are so like vigorous, and you know you obviously have to get good grades, and you know, but like you have the support here, so it's like you can't really fail, you know what I mean? And you know, if you're here for wrestling, you got to perform wrestling wise, so there's no excuses. You just got to make it happen. I mean, it's not like it's not the hardest thing in the world, but it's definitely a challenge. Like you gotta put some effort in.
Mm-hmm.
So
all right, let's talk about 16U Fargo. No, when you won it, was that your freshman or sophomore year?
It was my eighth, so it was my whole back 8th grade year. I was going into my freshman year.
Yeah, it was summer into freshman year. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And dude, I watched. I remember watching the clip earlier, and I just remember, you know, seeing you get so hyped. So do you remember, you know, like kind of the emotions you had in that moment by chance, or no?
Yeah, like a little bit. I mean, like it was obviously a really tough bracket. The bracket was so deep. Like if you look at the names of the kids that like even the kids like didn't place, it was like Angelo Ferrari. Like I think Lockett was in that bracket. Like it was just so deep. Like every kid that placed top 8 is a D1 kid. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like Pearson Manville was the kid that I wrestled in the finals, and like Charlie Millard, he was at Minnesota. Dylan Evans is at like Pitt. No, it was a deep bracket, but no, I just remember like I was so hyped after, because you know, like I didn't really think I was gonna do that well. Like obviously, like I'm going in there like, yeah, I'm just gonna go and scrap, but like that's just the mentality towards everything. But like I wasn't even on like Flow, Matt Scouts, Rockfin, nothing. Like just like they didn't even have me placing, nothing. It was just like I was unseated and I was just fighting. That was cool.
That might have been, you know, what put you on the radar and at the high school level, you know? Yeah.
No, it definitely was. It definitely helped a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, kind of ask more about Blair. What's the culture like there with the team? What's a practice like? You know, can you speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, the culture at the school, like, I love it. You know, like the kids on the team, they feel like family. You know, obviously, like we're living together a little bit, or you know, some of us are living together. You know, obviously, like they're all on the campus, so like we see each other all the time. And you know, we just love to wrestle, so it's like we have something in common. And you know, they're just all my brothers. We just hang out all the time. And you know, practice wise, you know, I feel like it's not, you know, we go hard. It's not any different than any like other practice. You know, some practices are technique, some practices you go a little harder, sometimes they're live. You know, you're mixing up different partners. Everybody in the room's pretty good, so it's like, you know, whoever you go with, you're gonna get better with.
Yeah. And is there any like yearly event, like a specific duel or tournament you guys go to, or you circle on the calendar every year that, you know, the team's always hyped for?
Yeah, I think the SEM duel is probably like our most hyped duel. I think like that's just always fun, especially when it's home. Del Barton's another really fun duel. That's always you kind of circle because they're tough. Obviously like Ironman and Beast and like those tournaments, like you're like, you know, like that's what you want to do well at. But I think like the most hype things are like the dual season. Dual season's really cool. It's a really cool experience. You know, the whole school's invested in it. Everybody's there. You know, even people that aren't, you know, maybe they don't work here, they don't go to school here, like even they come on campus. So it's like, it's neat. It's a neat experience. It's a smaller gym. You know, the bleachers are kind of on top of you. You got like a student section to the side. You know, there's people along the mat. It's cool. It's like an Ironman feeling, but it's like all the way around, you know?
I imagine like Blair wrestling is probably treated like the school's like how the school's football team is treated and stuff.
Yeah, no, it it is. We definitely like establish ourselves here. They know that we're pretty good, so it's definitely a cool thing.
That's cool. So speaking about this season, some of the stuff that's happened so far. Something I want to talk about is at the Shorty Hitchcock Open, you faced off against Nate Lackman, and I remember seeing that you guys were on the same side of the bracket, and I was like, holy, if this goes down, that's going to be insane. I don't know what's going to happen. So, what was your reaction kind of seeing that you're going to face, this two-time D3 national champ? Like, what did you think you were ready for that?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just another wrestling match, I think you kind of have the mentality that, you're the best, you can beat anybody. Like, it doesn't matter who's stepping out on the mat. Like, you're just going to go wrestle. That's what makes it fun. I didn't know exactly. I knew it was good. I didn't know exactly his accolades until like after the match. But it was like I just knew it was going to be a tough match, and it was, honestly. That was a gritty match. It was definitely like I was coming off a sprained ankle, and not a lot of people know that because I didn't really say anything about it. But like I'm still taping it. Like at Ironman, I had it taped. I'm probably gonna have to tape it all season. But it was like my first tournament back. It was kind of like we didn't have a warm up tournament before Ironman, so it was like we're just gonna go put ourselves in there and see how we could do. But it was definitely a cool experience. It was nice to kind of get that college feel and really just like get nervous, honestly get that the match feels. But it was a cool win, honestly. I was very happy with that.
Yeah. Then obviously you went on to win the whole thing, so winning College Open, another accolade to you.
But, it was cool. Speaking
getting to Ironman now this year, I want to talk about the finals first, man. You were down, trailing essentially the whole match. What was going through your head, before you mounted that big comeback?
I mean, we started the match, obviously. I was, it was just a mistake. Like Asher, like I said it in a few other interviews, but like Asher's very crafty and he's a tricky kid. And I've never, I felt him in the practice room, but I've never felt him in a match. Like it's completely different, like between practice room and wrestling in a match. Like it's just a completely different environment, completely different, how kids react. So, I just got caught early, and it was at first I was like, oh shoot, like this is gonna be, this is gonna be hard to come back from. But it's like the only thing you can do is really go score points. So it's like, you got the whole corner there, and you got the coaches telling you that go make this happen, and so you just gotta go try and make it happen. I was definitely dreading it a little bit, but it's like you have to make that mental switch mid-match where it's like, hey, I'm just gonna go get it. So I think I did a pretty good job of it.
Yeah, you definitely did.
Yeah.
And are you a fan of the 3-point takedowns? Because without it, I feel like it's completely different match.
Yeah. And I mean, I am, because I think I'm better on my feet than on the mat. I mean, I don't think it makes that big of a difference, because like if you think about it, it's like if the 3-point takedowns were in effect, then like he also wouldn't be getting 4 swipes. So it's kind of the same thing. But like in those closer matches, it forces the kids to open up a bit more. I kind of wish one of the rules that I wish they had was, I wish they like implemented like a step out rule in some like form. Like too many kids going out of bounds, and that's a pain. So
especially last period or so, when they're up.
Exactly. And I didn't, and Asher wasn't like that, so it wasn't like I had there wasn't no problem in it like that. But just like that's the only rule that I kind of wish they just had. So
yeah. And being as seasoned as you are, having wrestled in essentially every top tournament, what would you say the hardest folk style tournament is? Freestyle we know is Fargo, but what would you say folk style?
Folk style, I would probably say Ironman, honestly. I didn't wrestle Super 32 at the high school level, because they really don't, we never really went to that like as a team, like Blair. Mm-hmm. So, like it was more like prep. So like I didn't really feel that as much. I did in middle school, but like it's not the same feeling. I think Ironman is probably the toughest, just atmosphere wise, and like getting to the finals, everybody's tough. Especially like last year, I had a little bit of like just like a tougher time, like you're catching good kid. Like even this year, like I was catching Max Norman, who's the number like 16 kid in the country in the quarters. Like that's not an easy match. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
Like no match there is easy, especially in the earlier rounds. Like those kids are just there to fight. So it's like that makes it harder. I think Beast is tough too. I've had a lot of success at Beast. I also don't think it's like some brackets are really deep because you get those Jersey kids and you don't see those Jersey kids at Ironman. So depending on what weight you are, like you could catch a really deep bracket. But all my experiences, Ironman's been definitely the toughest.
Yeah, that seems to be the consensus, either Ironman or Super 32. But Beast is a good one too, because that's definitely one that's flown under the radar more compared to the other ones. Yeah,
I mean it's hard to really say because like even like Powerade we went to like my freshman year, like that was a super tough bracket. Like I caught like Adam Waters in like the round of 16 or something like that, or I caught Ty Waters in like the round of 16 or something like that. Yeah, my freshman year, like I forget. Oh, and it was like Meyer Shapiro in the finals, like just crazy stuff. Same thing with like preps, Meyer and I were in the finals. Like I think Ethan Mohina took like 6th in that preps bracket. You know what I mean? And Ethan Mohina is pretty good. So it was like sometimes you just catch a really hard bracket, but that's how all the tournaments are.
Mm-hmm. So now that, we're fully into the season now for preps and stuff, are there any specific goals that you have for your final year?
I mean, I think Ironman was just like my big one. Like, I mean, I never really like, obviously like you want to win. It's everybody's like, like that you don't want to lose. Nobody wants to lose, but it's like, I think just setting a good example for, the younger kids on the team and, making sure they're doing the right things and they carry that, like, even after I leave is probably like my most important goal, like just setting like being a good role model, and making sure that, they understand what they have to get done, that they believe in themselves a little bit. Or a lot. So I think that's probably like my end goal, just making sure that they're, firing on all cylinders and understand what they have to do. Mm-hmm. So definitely. Yeah, that's probably it.
And another question I have is, like I said, your season, you've been doing all this, you're winning everything. And, by your side, there's been another Henckel this whole time, your sister, Sarah, who you could tell her I'm definitely going to reach out to her soon to, get a podcast interview with her. But, what's it like just in doing it with your sister by your side, doing it with family?
Yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, there's nothing really like it. Like, it's just like cool. Like you get to be happy for each other and there's a little competition sometimes. Like, I want to do better than she does and she wants to do better than I do. But like, at the end of the day, like we're both happy for each other and we want each other to succeed. Especially like she was probably more excited than I was after I won Ironman. She knows how much it mattered to me, and like also like we're also like training partners in a way. Like I don't go with her every day, but like before Ironman, like I was rolling with her. Like I was rolling with her like Thursday morning before I left. And it's just like there's just a sense of like so you get that sense of like we're teammates and we're family. So it's like it just makes it so much more special.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. I'm real happy for you both. It's amazing, the things you guys are accomplishing.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
And moving on to Penn State, college recruitment, stuff like that, and just college in general. What excites you the most about, competing at college and getting to that level next year?
Yeah, I mean, I just think I'm just excited to, grow really as a wrestler. Like, I think that's really just the spot where, like I think I could get it done anywhere, but I was saying that earlier too to somebody else, but it's just like that's where I thought I was going to become the best version of me. That's what excites me. Like the fact that like I can become a better wrestler is just that's exciting, and that's what I'm mostly looking forward to. And obviously like I like the kids on the team and the coaches are really cool. Like I just like I like everything about it. So it's just like that's really exciting. I also do like competing against college kids a lot more. I don't know why, I just do. So I think that'll be more fun, like especially like especially like I like competing, like you said, at the Open, the Shorty Hitchcock, like U20s is like a really fun event for me. I don't know why, I really like it. Like I really like the U20 trials. I like Vegas, like those. It's just a fun tournament to me. So I think I'm excited to move on to the next level.
And remind me, where I know you took visits to Penn State, obviously, Rutgers, Iowa, and where else?
So it was Nebraska and ASU.
ASU, okay.
Yeah, it was Penn State, Iowa, Nebraska, Rutgers. Yeah, no, I think that was it. Yeah.
And I gotta ask too, were you considering Oklahoma State at all, either before or after David Taylor became the head coach?
I mean,
I know there's already been some flips of commitments and stuff, and they just won Cliff Keen.
Yeah. So. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, like once I was committed to that school. I was committed to Penn State, especially like, like I really fell in love with the school. So it's like, and I fell in love with the wrestling. So it's like, just like Blair, like I've always wanted to go to Penn State. Like my room, it's just all decked out in Penn State. It's got a stripe around the whole room. Like there's like a Penn State fathead, like the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
So that was a dream of mine. And, once I got there and I got the call, I was like, yeah, like, this is where I want to be. So, I mean, like, obviously, like it's a great situation. You think about it occasionally, like if what
like
would
if
happen.
You went to Papa.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I thought about it a little bit, not that much though. Mm-hmm. I was happy with my decision, so I wanted to say it that way.
Nice. So, do you have any aspirations of competing at the senior level in freestyle or anything?
Oh yeah. That's a big goal of mine. Like obviously I want to compete at the Olympics and on world teams, and that's a big goal of mine. I think about it all the time. That's another reason why Penn State was kind of my choice, just what's going to set me up the best to make that happen. So no, definitely 100%.
Yeah. You think Penn State is the best fit to help you achieve those goals?
I think so. Right now, I think you can get it done anywhere. Honestly, I think you put in the work, and you want it enough, you could get it done anywhere. Just like I said, I just thought it was the best fit for me to accomplish those goals. So, they have the guys on the world team. They have Aaron Brooks. They have they had Zane. They had Kyle Dake and Snyder. Although those guys didn't really, Kyle Dake and Snyder didn't go through the Penn State like college, but they're there at the RTC. So yeah. Exactly. So that must mean that they're doing something right, and they support their athletes. So, you kind of got to look at that side. So
definitely. And, when you got to Penn State, kind of like Blair, rich history, very deep room. They got, like you said, you mentioned all those guys, they got there, but then they also just have, guys like Joe Seeley, Levi Haynes. So, you might be, a new fish in a big pond, but what would you do, to kind of separate yourself, from the group and stand out?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good guys there, and I think that's, I think a lot of people are kind of scared of that, but, I don't really bat an eye at it. I bat an eye at it as a way, like, those guys are going to make me better. That's going to make me stand out, especially putting in the work, and, as long as I'm doing everything right, like, everything will be, everything will happen. So I'm not that nervous about it, and, there's no need to be.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, do you have any thoughts, like, would you plan to redshirt freshman year?
I'm not sure. I mean, obviously that's a conversation for, to have with Casey, Kale, and Cody, and, Coach Lee. But they, whatever they want me to do, I can do. I mean, I have no idea.
Yeah, for the team though,
Yeah, exactly. Wherever they need me. Mm-hmm. So if whatever they want to do, I'm there. I'm just ready to wrestle. That's it.
Mm-hmm. And well, my last question, what advice do you have to the younger wrestlers in Connecticut and New England who look at you and aspire to reach your level?
Yeah. I mean, there's no secret to it, I feel. If you want it enough and you set those goals and, you want to achieve them, bad enough, you can make it happen. You just have to make the decision, like it's not easy. A lot of sacrifice goes into it, and a lot of, just like laser focus on what you want to achieve, a lot of practice time, a lot of competitions, you got to understand that, what you're working for, it can be accomplished, but it doesn't happen overnight. You don't just write it down on a piece of paper and put it on your door and it happens. It's more like you gotta make it happen. So I mean, like, that's what I did. It took forever. Like, I did write down all my goals on a piece of paper and put it on my door. It's still up, actually. Yeah, just keep it up there. But it's just a reminder, and it's, you can make it happen no matter where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
So
definitely. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add or touch on?
No, I think you got it all.
Well, man, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. It's awesome, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.